Good morning, guys. Good morning. Oh my God. Like, I just woke up from the worst nightmare. Not really the worst nightmare, but I just woke up from a nightmare. It was really just a lot of blood and a lot of, like, I just woke up in this fight or flight, all my muscles clenched together, and it was bad. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I'm not going to get into details. Nightmare. I don't have very many nightmares, so it was one of those things where I just literally, as soon as I felt my heart go boom, 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 I'm like, ah! So it took me a while to get like myself back down, drank a half a cup of coffee. I'm like, okay, I think I can do conscious coffee now, and hopefully not be seeing the nightmare in my head anymore, because it was, I'll analyze it later. Because dream analysis is really cool and insightful, but that's a different topic. Today's topic is patterns in our sex and how they stop us from manifesting our desired life, how they stop the flow of abundance coming into our life. So last week when I did the conscious copy on sexual, manifestation and using sex to help create, I think that is one of the most seen conscious copies. So I was like, well, I'll throw sex back in again, a little bit more teaching on this, even though conscious coffee is not necessarily sexually focused. That's for sexy Saturday vlogs and articles and workshops, but might as well bring in, because it is a really important piece in the creation process. So I do not want to deny how important it is. So we're going to go through a couple things. And when I say patterns in our sex and how they really, and what I'm talking about is negative patterns in our sexual relationships do different things. And as we go through these patterns, I don't know if I'm going to hit all of them, but I'm going to hit the big ones for sure for you guys. And the things here is that it just really makes it where you may not realize it, but you're saying no to abundance flowing in, to your manifestation actually coming about when you get caught up in these different patterns. So one of the biggest, and this is, it can be it can be a really big challenge. Sorry, looking to see how much coffee I've left. It can be a really big challenge to manifesting, and it's a really big challenge to us in today's world. Both sexes suffer from this first one big time, and it is because we have taken sex and we have made it a very mechanical, physical act, and it's all about the friction-based, how quick, we don't have the connection, the relating, there's no heart opening in our sex, and it makes it really just, this is like a big suffering point in manifestation. And this whole first pattern is not being total in our lovemaking. So not being completely there, not being present, not being open, not completely being open in that experience. And that right there is the space where you can really feel your partner, and you're basically allowing God, the universe, to penetrate you in this moment. If you feel like sex is just a physical act, like it is just, this friction-based moment where there's not a whole lot more going on, then you're probably shut down in your heart space, in your whole being, and you're just not being completely you, expressing you, open, authentic, and just revealing of self. So if you are shutting down in that way, then you're not actually allowing your partner to penetrate you in different ways. Maybe your partner isn't even, able to penetrate you in different ways because they're shut down in that way too. It is a two-way street, Both people have to come in with an open heart, an open mind, and spiritually want to penetrate at this moment so that there's that depth there. This stuff obviously does not happen on a first time sexual encounter with somebody. It doesn't happen early on in the sexual relationship. It can, I know that it can because I've had it happen myself, occasionally happen like that. But chances are you're going to need time to connect to somebody. And the point here is that you got to take your sexual relating, and sexual relating meaning courting, foreplay, connection. If you're running fast forward and trying to just go after the quick release, the stress release that we use sex for, then this is never going to happen. Because if you're using sex as a stress release, then don't expect great manifestation to come from it. It's not going to. It's just going to be about you just, letting your hair down type thing. If you slow down, the more pleasurable the sensations are, the slower it is in that connection process during the lovemaking, then that means that you are opening. And an open person is a person that is ready to receive lots of blessing to be filled up. If you are already shut down, you basically got the lid on your receiving jar on there already, nice and tight. No blessings can come in because you're all nice and tightly bottled up. So God can't bless you because you're not open for it, plain and simple. So that's the visual. You can go into a lot more depth, and for local people, we're going to be doing classes on some of this stuff down the road. I've got a couple online courses coming out in the next 90 days that is actually focused in on some of this stuff right here. So those are going to be more in depth. This is just giving you those little key points so you can go, oh, and kind of start to learn, experience, and play with it, okay? So number one is all about not being totally open in your lovemaking, okay? And how that blocks you. Just think jar, lid, and if you're lidded up, no, you can't really receive more blessings. You got to take that lid off. You got to open up to the divine, to God, to your partner, to yourself, to the flow of orgasm, and really let it take you over. Number two, denying your own sexual needs. If you are denying your own sexual needs, guess what else you're denying in life? So denying your own sexual needs is all about our shame and guilt that we have wrapped around our sex, and how we just really say no a lot. We say no a lot. Now, I'm not saying go out there and do immoral things, and I think that, there's difference between needs and desires here, or needs and fantasies. This is quite literally when you get right into, like, I really need to be cuddled. I really need to be touched in a way that ignites me. I need, I need the slowness. I need this, I need that. Whatever it is. Maybe your partner does not enjoy oral sex, but you desperately need that oral sex to be able to successfully achieve, number one, opening up fully in lovemaking. Then if you're just consistently going, no, I don't need that. No, this, someone's, whatever program over here, whatever pattern says, the oral sex is bad, oral sex is dirty, oral sex is this, oral sex is that. Well, if you're shutting it down, then but you have this need inside that's actually something that is going to help open you up, then you're saying no to yourself. Anywhere that you're saying no to yourself over a need is also blocking other needs. So if you're in the habit of saying no to yourself, sexually speaking, no, I don't really need to have an orgasm. I'm just here to take care of my man and make sure that he's happy. For us women, it's pretty popular out there, right? We go, oh no, it's more about duty. I got to take care of him so that he doesn't go someplace else. But we're not really opening up. It's not about our need, because we're like, oh, we're not even going to have an orgasm. If you're blocking your orgasm, if you're blocking your need, if you're trying to just give because of blah, 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 whatever your reason is, then you're saying no to yourself. You're allowing yourself to be used. you're allowing yourself to do things that you don't want, guess what this energy does? Now you're presenting the energy to the universe that you don't really need, that your desires, your needs don't really have to be met. And it would be no shocker, then it shouldn't be a shocker if other things aren't coming into you as well. So you can't say no to your sexual needs and think that you can open up to your abundance needs, because orgasm is the breath of abundance, and you need to be able to open up to that breath of abundance if you really do want to create. Let's say you're building a business, let's say you're trying to get a job promotion, maybe you're trying to really get healthy in life, you're trying to do something like that. Well, you got to be able to open up to these things and say yes to yourself and actually speak your truth around it and ask, because that's part of the game, right? Ask and seek and knock, and these are all the things, right? So if you're not asking, if you're not seeking, if you're not knocking on the bliss door, then don't expect to get any amount of bliss in life really coming in, other than little trinkets that are going to just be out there, because God's always going to present little opportunities for you to taste bliss. They're going to give those things and be like, do you want more? Do you want more? And if you're constantly saying, no, I'm good, it's okay, well, okay, there you go. We'll wait a little bit and a little offer, but you're never going to be able to experience that depth and that fullness and that just yummy, awesome, more flavor that a really good orgasm has, that brings you into this more state, this creative state, this state where everything is interconnected. You're just ignited for life, and you're like sitting in this space of just like complete fullness, but openness to continue to receive. That state of orgasm is saying yes, yes, keep filling me up. Yes, keep pleasuring me with joy, with abundance, with wealth and health and this and that and whatever you're desiring. But if you say no to those needs and you don't vocalize them in the bedroom, in your sexual needs, remember, sexual needs is not all about, PV sex here. It is about, for a lot of us, that just means holding, kissing, intimate communication, stuff like that. Sex is not just about intercourse, okay? So really look at all your sexual needs, or reach out to a sex educator or a coach or a therapist and do some work around that, where you can actually access those sexual needs, understand how to vocalize, understand what they are, tap into them. Because if you have no clue what I'm talking about here, then you definitely need to be awakened to what needs and desires are, what the differences are around different things, and learn about that so that you can start to tap in. Number 3, how are you at allowing touch? So when we prevent, there's a lot of sexual trauma in our world. There's a lot of different things that happen that make us kind of just startle. Like if you had touched me just moments ago when I was having that nightmare, and my heart was boom, 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 like my heartbeat really cranked up. I thank God that happened, because it woke me up from the dream. But if somebody had come in and touched me in that moment, it would have startled me. I would have probably went to hit them or something. Who knows? So that reflex right there happens a lot, because we live in a world where there is so much sexual trauma, and there's so many other, emotional, physical traumas out there, abusive relationships in childhood, in marriage and relating in general. And there's a lot of people that are locked up in this department because they can't allow just a touch, a holding, just that, just to be held. And here's the thing about holding. Holding's not about touching to grope. And in this way, if you want to ignite somebody, if you want to open somebody, I refer to it as melting. you should be able to melt into a touch. You should be able to fully feel. If you're still feeling locked up when you give somebody a hug, if you're feeling locked up when your partner touches you, hugs you, kisses you, and you can't just melt into it, well, guess what? You're not surrendering. If you don't surrender, if you can't surrender in allowing of this touch and just go into this melting moment where you're fully receiving the touch and feeling it out of depth and allowing it to just turn you on and feeling that pleasure from that touch, again, we have the relationship between sex and the rest of our world, sex and the rest of our life. You're probably locked up, anxiety-ridden, stressful, got a lot of negative thinking and feeling and emotion trapped in your physical being, trapped in your mind, that is also going to prevent you from being able to receive properly, because you're not going to be able to connect to those surrendering moments and be able to just open up to the surrendering thoughts and really, really feel into it so that you can have that creation space, okay? And if you really want to go into, like opening and surrendering and into life, and so that you can receive, because guess what? Once again, God's not going to pour down blessings on you and give you everything that you want if you're casting out this negative energy of, I'm scared. If you're startling every time something happens, which can come out in multiple different ways, then you're definitely not going to be able to receive very well. Next point would be, do you have an addiction to sex of some sort? Like addiction to, like, I need sex, but you're pretty passive in getting what you need, passive in the lovemaking part. So, what are your reasons behind the lovemaking, behind the sex? What are the reasons back there? Here we have this addiction process that takes place in us, and it's because we go from the place of tremendous hunger to a place of, like, this hunger gets us to react, and then we go into it and we get what we want, but then we don't really know how to do the three things that I was just talking about, right? We're not surrendering, we're not opening at that level, or we're don't know how to ask for what we need. So then what do? We become kind of like this limp noodle in the middle, and it's like, I don't care, whatever. So there's no real true desire there, but we're going after it. We're like, yes, I want that sexual experience. I don't know what to do with it though. Okay, so when we get into this kind of environment of passive and addicted, so it's like passive and needy. You see, it's like, so we're needy. I'm hungry. Feed me. Oh, I don't even know what to do with that food. That right there is what I refer to as short circuit, and that reflects back to really being able to, so we go, I really need to, get this job promotion. I really, really need to get this job promotion. So you go and you're like, trying to, like, hey, here I am. And this is, I'm sorry, if you're one of those people that always get passed by, this might be your problem. So it's like you're going and you're doing all these different things out there to be seen, but you haven't done the internal work to receive. Listen to the front end of this conscious coffee and to the back end, because we'll work through it. But to receive, then all of a sudden, like, maybe the boss comes along and says, oh, like, maybe you get a little promotion, or maybe you get passed by again. But if you get the promotion, what happens then is, like, what? Now you're in the position, and now you're like, ooh, I got the position. I can't believe this happened. This is so amazing. Or you take the stance of, well, it's about fucking time that happened. Like, I've been here for 3 years, and so did this, and so did that, and so came in and passed me right by, and I'm just sitting over here and I'm doing all this, and blah, 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 blah. But then you're finally in the position, and there's no real true gratitude. there is a different energy there. There is this energy that is more like, well, finally. And then it comes in the, oh my God, I don't even know if I really want this position. It's not all that I thought it was going to be. It's not this, it's not that. And then all the insecurity starts to pop up, which then makes us just kind of go into overwhelm. And most people, when they operate in overwhelmed state, just go, I don't know what to do with it. Passive. All right, I got what I said that I was hungry for, but I don't know what to do with it. So I'm going to just lay here and just like do whatever you want with me. That limp noodle status, that's just like, you can't do that. So lovemaking is quite literally going to reflect how you operate in other areas of your life. So if you are hungry and then passive in your lovemaking, well, then you're probably got other areas in your life focused around abundance and receiving that you are hungry but then passive. I want these blessings. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go do these practices that I hear talked about. I mean, oh my gosh, they're working, but I don't know what to do with them. So then you become overwhelmed because all of a sudden you just go, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with this. And then you're just like, okay. And guess what? The universe does not want you to be passive. The universe wants you to keep asking for what you want. God wants you to keep knocking, keep seeking, go after it. It is a constant movement forward. You're always growing. You're always moving. You always have more desire. You go, go, go. And the same thing in our sex. You got to just want more, but in a healthy way, not in the addictive way. It's in the way of like, wow, that was amazing. And I feel so, full and big and full of joy. And now I want to share this with people, which makes you have the desire to share, to expand, to make everything bigger, better. And that just kind of ripples out, ripples out, ripples out. So you want to really look at where are you being addicted and overly hungry to something. And then once you get it, you don't know what the heck to do with it. So you just go, I don't know. And then you don't really ask for what you need in those moments, or even in the process of getting there. You're just looking at the outcome, like that like what I refer to as us using our sex for just stress release. That is an addictive tendency that makes sex all about the friction, not about the connection. Next one is talking about, and then here we go with worthiness. Worthiness. I wrote an article on it this last week. I think I did like 2 different talks on worthiness. It seems to be a topic that keeps coming up. So, and I know that, like I said in my article, like I struggle with worthiness. We all struggle with worthiness issues. But that feeling of you're just not good enough, that feeling right there tells the universe, guess what it tells the universe? I've said what it tells the universe. It tells the universe, I'm just not good enough. If you feel that you're not good enough, then guess what you are? Not good enough. If you feel like you don't deserve the deep, full body, connected, opening orgasm, then you're not going to experience the deep, full body, connected orgasm. With that, you're also probably not going to experience other yummy abundance things coming into your life. I'm not good enough to make $500,000. I'm not good enough to be in business for myself. I'm not good enough to get that promotion. I'm not good enough to have the body that I want. I'm not good enough to call in the relationship that I want. I'm not good enough to keep a strong relationship going. I'm not good at, keep going with I'm not good enough. I'm sure that you probably have a nice list. We all do. But what ones on your list are you really attaching to and really pulling in? Because that I'm not good enough is also going to present itself, show up in other areas of your life. You have to remember that your sex is definitely the mirror of the rest of your world. That is why sex is so important, because the way we are with our lover, whether that is ourself, whether it is another person, is exactly how we are with our ultimate lover, which is God. So if we can't open up to our partner, then we can't open up to God. God wants to penetrate us. God wants us to ask for what we want. God wants us to receive, wants us to just open up and be filled up, as many churches out there use this term, filled up with his glory. So, filled up with his glory, if we take that into sex, let's just take that into sex. I'm not even going to speak yet. I think you guys all know where I went. So, it really is this mimicking process of just opening up to it. Now, how does a man open up to it? Well, a man opens up to it by staying present with his partner and not rushing through it, and realizing that he can be taken to this whole new level, because a woman can penetrate a man by opening up. She penetrates his heart by opening up. And the more she opens up in orgasm, the more she penetrates his heart, the more he opens up. Is this beautiful, beautiful cycle of energy, and it pulls them both up. But the woman has to open up in sex for that to happen. But the man has to be trustworthy for the woman to open up. And like I said, I'm only touching on all this stuff just to get you kind of going, what the heck, and to go learn and experience, ask questions, all that good stuff. This is not a full-on workshop, but we explain that in a workshop and then lots of stuff that's coming out. But really think about it. For guys, are you penetrating your woman whole being, whole mind, body, soul? Are you penetrating her at a spiritual level, a mental level, emotional level, and physically? Are you just providing friction-based stress release sex, which she's probably faking her orgasm over and going, okay, when's this going to be over? Okay, because if that's what's happening, there is none of this stuff that I'm talking about happening. She is definitely not open. You are not being trustworthy because you're not creating that space for it. Ladies, if you have a guy that is trustworthy, that takes his time, that once his pleasure comes from your pleasure, then realize that it is your job to open in this moment, because he can't force you to open. You have to actually want to open to him. You have to actually want to surrender. And in your surrendering to your man, you're also surrendering to God. You are this vessel of creation, and all good, yummy blessing can go through you. And our sex is like our practice ground, okay? It's our practice ground. So look at those things. Realize that you are enough. Change that vocabulary there. Change the feeling there. Start telling yourself the opposite, because if you keep preaching to yourself, I'm just not good enough, then you're going to continue to just not be good enough, and you're just not going to receive enough either. And the final point of today's talk, fear-oriented, it's all about, we approach sex with a fear-based mindset, a fear-based focus. So we come at it in this way that we feel like we need to push through things. We just need to do that. And there's all this fear in there. Or we go at it with this is a really big one. I just need to do it, or else the relationship's going to blow up. If I don't do this, then the relationship's going to go away. And if I don't please my partner properly, if I'm not good enough, then they're going to run away. This is going to happen, that's going to happen. I mean, we have so many fears around it. We also have the fears of the shame and the guilt. Like, oh my gosh, what if somebody found out about this? What would they think of me? What would this happen? What would that happen? All this different stuff. So really looking at that, where are your fear blocks in your sex? You need to go and examine this, because those fear blocks are just that. They are blocks. They are preventing you from being able to receive in different ways. You've got to open up those channels and approach your sex from a place of love and connection instead of a place of fear and need. And I mean need in a negative way of like, I need to get off. I need the stress release. I can't do this by myself. I need I need to just know that somebody's there, like filling my space, filling this void, because that makes me feel good for a little bit. I need to go and explore the shiny new thing because this person's not filling my needs. It's been filling my void. So now I'm going to go explore the shiny new thing and just blow everything up. These are all ego-based, negative, needy, addictive characteristics that are all based in, and when I say ego, based in fear, okay? Fear of not having, fear of not getting, fear of losing, fear of not being good enough, fear of judgment, fear of, and anytime you're fearing all this stuff, you're also fearing that God will not provide. So where the hell is your faith at? If you can't go into your love making from a state of love and openness and faith and just receiving and connecting. Like I said, this is not going to happen on a first time date. It's not going to happen on a first time experience. It's actually why I'm completely anti have sex on the first date, because I don't trust you and I don't want to share energy with you in that, because there's a lot of energy exchange going on here. Intimacy has to be built. Connection has to be built. It does happen occasionally. Most of the time it doesn't happen though, okay? You get yourself into worse situations. So really getting in there and being able to connect, and get to know somebody and build that intimacy and have that touch and have that love-making experience where there's laughter, there's joy, there's connection. There's like, oh, you're just, both of you are going, this is so good. So yummy, so good. That's that space of lovemaking. And it's also not a fear-based space. That's a space of, yes, I want this. Yes, I'm open to it. Yes. And until you are a fuck yes, be the no. And allow other things to create. But realize that if you are holding on to any of these patterns that I just went through, I believe there was 5 or 6 of them, as if you are in any of these patterns or multiple ones, because that's probably more truthful, probably in multiple ones, that you are remaining in a no state. And if you want to get to that yes state, you want to get to that yumminess, that juiciness, that yum, yes, and that open, and you want to be able to receive the blessings and the manifestations that you have out there and actually see them come into play in your physical world, then you've got to work through these patterns and heal them so that you can create that manifestation zone and be the yes that you want to be for yourself. Okay? So there you go. There is all the key patterns, at least, to what you might be experiencing in blockages in your life. So if you're somebody out there who thinks that you're doing everything right and you're working your butt off in multiple ways, and maybe you're listening to, let me see, I'll look up here on my books. You're listening to Wayne Dyer, or you've watched the movie The Secret, or who else do I have up there? You've read the book The Alchemist. You're studying visualization work. You're studying creation work. You're studying all this different stuff. Realize that everything is interwoven. Everything comes together and plays a role. And if you are ignoring your sex like this, it doesn't matter. I've got it nicely put away over there, and I only deal with it when I absolutely have to. When my partner comes along and makes me feel like I need to, or when I just feel a little overwhelmed and anxiety, and I'm using it for what it's for, that stress release, right? If you're doing that, then you're never going to be able to fully create what you're visualizing for your life, what you're desiring for your life, what you're wanting there. So come back to these patterns, look at them, get help around them if you need that, explore those things, and realize that these are all opportunities to grow, to expand, and to learn how to fully receive and consistently receive too. So if you look out there and you see different people that have this freedom-based life that are just, it seems like just blessings keep pouring down on them, and they just don't even have to really work at it, and it just keeps flowing in. Chances are they got these patterns figured out, and they've done their work around it, and they're consistently doing their work around it because it is a consistent work around it thing. And that's exactly what you need to do too. Okay. So with that, I'm going to call it ends. I hear my munchkin upstairs yelling for me, so I got a mommy call coming, and I love you guys. If this conscious coffee helped you at all, touched you at all, just found it a little bit interesting, please hit the share button, leave your comments, tag a friend, give me some love on here, and I will catch you guys tomorrow morning around 6 a.m. Bye, everybody.